Hey guys, how's it going? Toofty here, and before you run away, oh, Toofty's doing an Overwatch video, I hate you! No, wait there, because what I'm going to be talking about today applies to any game with matchmaking really, so you might be interested, but if you can't stand Overwatch footage, then yeah, best look away now. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the matchmaking system, what is often referred to as ELO hell, some of the frustrations around ranking when it feels like it's not working, and what's kind of going on behind the scenes, and yes, why sometimes it just feels like you're stuck and nothing's going your way. I know I've been there. So to begin with, as like a caveat to the entire episode, matchmaking, it does work to be fair, but sometimes it feels like it doesn't, and that's because it simply just takes so long. And someone like me who doesn't play very regularly, sometimes you can see it almost not working before it works, if you see what I mean. Now, I had this awesome analogy, so if you like analogies, you're in luck. But it's like evolution, right? Evolution happens really slowly, and so if you just take a quick snapshot of something, you're like, well, that's mental, how can that be happening? But if you look at the big picture, you know, it is working. But yeah, it's the same, it's to do with timescale, I think. That's one of the biggest reasons I imagine it kind of can be frustrating, is because it's working so slowly that if you play 3 games in a row, that's not enough to make you feel like, oh yeah, I'm gradually getting better, or whatever should be happening might not be happening in those 3 games. So yeah, today we're not going to talk about like how to get out of ELO hell, guys. I don't know what that was. We're not going to do that because it's just a simple matter of keep playing, keep getting better, you know, stay positive, communicate, all that good stuff. This is more of a moany video about why matchmaking doesn't always work perfectly, and like I said, how it works over a long period of time. So for season 2, I was placed in platinum. I felt suited to it, to be honest. It felt okay. You know, it's hard to assess yourself, but you know, sometimes we won, sometimes we lost, and I felt I was contributing. And for this season, I've been placed in gold, and it's a bit frustrating, but it's happened to a lot of people. But I don't feel like there's a significantly clear difference between the quality of the games. And weirdly, if anything, I feel like I'm losing more recently than I did before when I was in platinum. So that's the first frustrating thing. I think it's never going to be a clear difference because there's so much fluctuation, and you know, gold and platinum are far too similar. There's probably loads of people who should be in one but are in the other, and vice versa. But that's my first kind of observation. I've dropped a rank, but it feels kind of the same. If anything, it feels like I'm losing more, which is a bit weird. And I wanted to talk about a few of the reasons why I think that is as well. So obviously the big one is it's a team-based game and they're trying to rank you individually. So that's a bit of an issue. Every game depends massively on chance in terms of what teammates you're going to get. But obviously, you know, over time, those averages, those percentage of wins and losses should accurately represent how well you're doing. But just, again, it takes a long time. And I can talk about the very basics of how matchmaking works for those of you who don't know. Basically, it simply is your win rate, how likely you are to win a game. Both team has a value of how likely they are to win compared to the other team. And if you win against the odds, you go up slightly more. And if you win with the odds, you go up slightly less. If you see what I mean, I hope that makes sense. So it's pretty much purely based on winning the game and not based on anything you do during the game, unfortunately. That's my understanding anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a good reason that stuff in the game isn't counted. It's because, you know, if you had a bunch of mates, you could probably farm kills or healing or something like that. You could probably basically cheat the system. So I understand why they're not doing that, but I just so wish that they could somehow factor in individual performance at some level. Just wanted to have a quick moan about that because it is so frustrating, because I wanted to talk a bit more about my personal experience here. So firstly, in gold, you don't get an awful lot of healers, I've found. And because when I play competitively, I want to win, I kind of put fun a little bit to the side. It's still fun, but it's not as big a priority. So I will willingly go healer if I need to, because I feel like I'm a decent enough Lucio or Anna to help contribute in that respect. But that's not me playing at my best. So I'm probably best at Pharah, and then Soldier, and then Zarya. So on the one hand, you should be playing the hero, you know, you're going to bring most value to. But on the other hand, if you have 0 healers, the most value you can bring to the team is going healer. So I would say over half my games, I end up as Lucio or Anna. And Anna, you know, I'm okay, Anna, and I enjoy playing her, so it's not such a big deal. But the fact that I'm going Lucio, and I've even had to play Reinhardt once, and I've got about half an hour on him. It's just bonkers, but I'm just trying to do what's best for the team, if you see what I mean. But then I feel like I'm getting punished because I'm not amazing at them, but I'm kind of helping the team at least. So yeah, it's just a kind of weird limbo where it's like, should I go Pharah, where I'm going to put out loads of damage and probably do a decent job? Or should I go like Lucio or maybe even Reinhardt, where I'll do a terrible job, but we really need a Reinhardt on this particular map, for example. So that can be frustrating. And you know, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy playing, especially when I get to go Ana. What I tend to do is I say, okay, so I'm happy to go healer, but I am probably better at DPS. If anyone wants to swap, let me know. Obviously no one says anything back. I'm completely ignored because everyone wants to go DPS. So it is an interesting one, and that's one of the factors that can be frustrating. And I feel like, should it somehow know that you're kind of trying to fill in really important gaps for your team? And sometimes, you know, it's silly, but you kind of feel like you deserve a reward, if you like, you know, in terms of matchmaking points, because you're filling in these really important roles for your team. You're like, I don't know, it's a weird one, because at the same time, I know you shouldn't be doing this as well. So I'm really conflicted here, guys. Help me out. But yeah, so I don't think matchmaking works perfectly. I'm not denying it works. I just think it's a very slow process, and it's a little bit frustrating. And if only they could somehow measure your personal contribution to the game. Not even just like how many kills you got, how much healing you did. I mean things like positioning, things like not dying. If you're in the right position and not dying and you're doing your job, and they can sort of compare that to someone in a higher rank who are doing the exact same thing, but because of their teammates, they're winning, you would have hoped that there's something smart they could do there to sort of see which players are actually performing above their level. And by the way, before I go on, I don't want to come across like I'm moaning that I'm, you know, too low. Oh no, I'm gold, I should be at least Grandmaster. None of that. I don't know where I'm meant to be. Unfortunately, I don't play enough. I don't think I've fully leveled out, if you see what I mean, to my true position. So I'm not sure, but I didn't want to talk about me specifically too much in this video. But yeah, if it could somehow go, all right, this guy's never trickling in, his whole team's trickling in, but this one guy, they always wait for a teammate to be near, they're always in the right position, they hardly ever die, and they're putting out a good amount of DPS or doing a good amount of healing. Whereas this other person seems to constantly trickle in. Maybe we should treat those two people differently, but I kind of understand that you could probably, like I said, somehow cheat the system. I don't know, it's a tricky one. It might be just too complex. Imagine a lot of things could go wrong behind the scenes. Obviously, aside from all that, there are factors outside of our control that affect the game, of people who leave prematurely, you know, internet problems, just having a bad day, things like that, which contribute to this system not being perfect. So it can never be perfect, but at the same time, I reckon it could definitely be better. You know, I just hope that they continue to improve it and that one day it is better and there are less people moaning about it like myself. Another weird factor that comes into play, which maybe isn't relevant for this video, but anxiety. I get a bit of competitive anxiety. I'm not as relaxed when I click on competitive mode, and therefore I immediately don't play as well. I promise you, I'm not making it up. When I'm really relaxed, I play better. When I'm a bit uptight, I play worse. So that's a topic I wanted to talk about for another video, so I won't go into that too much right now. Anyway, I'd love to hear your stories as well. Are you guys getting frustrated with it? Do you feel like you're at the right level? How long does it take until you feel like you are at the right level? If I can only play, say, 2 competitive games a week, will I never be at the right level? Will it take a couple of months or what, you know? That's another thing actually, the placement games, you know, 10 of them, that takes me weeks to do. I'm a little bit exaggerating, but it does take me like a couple of weeks to do those. So yeah, I am kind of hoping they reduce that in the future a little bit. My opinion on that is that they should only be placement games for absolutely new players. Anyone else, they just use their previous rank and then go from there. But yeah, I reckon one day they might actually remove that altogether. So yeah, I talked about a lot of different things today. I hope I didn't come across too moany. I think the main message I wanted to get across is that matchmaking is by no means perfect, and it's a very slow process. And so I know for me it's been a little bit frustrating because I've never felt quite where I belong. But you know, it's the best system we have right now. And let me know, in the situation where there's no healers on the team, should I go Pharah, my strongest class, or should I go Lucio or Ana? I just can't bear to see a team without a healer. It just hurts me. And by the way, you do pronounce it Pharah. I'm going to trigger lots of people's faces off there, sorry about that. But yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Barrier